You are now listening to the Odd Valley Podcast.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Odd Valley Live. We are back here with you again. We were on a hiatus for 2 weeks, but we're back. So, come drink with us and do some stuff with us. I don't know, that got weird. I mean, I'm just out of practice, but yeah, but we are here.
I had to turn a light off. That's what I did.
I'm your host, Mochi Squeeze, and I'm your other host over there, Jacob Jones.
Hello, I'm your dungeon master and producer tonight, as I am every night that we record the show. Hello, how are you?
Mm-hmm. The stats distract me. I feel like I don't want to see that.
Okay, I'll turn it off. Sure.
Thank you. Because then I'll constantly look over there at the time and also,
Okay.
But anyways, so
Cool. Sorry. Welcome to Odd Valley Live.
Yes, welcome to Odd Valley Live. Today's topic is going to be Lord of the Rings. So we have special drinks that we are going to be drinking and everything like that. We did not. I did not do research, but I figured we would just talk about the movie and talk about why we love it and talk about like maybe little fun facts about it and all that. I did not read the books, so I can't talk about the books.
Okay. We have them here.
So yeah, I can't speak to the books, but I love the movies. So first things first, before we go on, is that I will tell the new viewers about what we do here. So we are a drinking podcast. We drink because it is kind of happy hour here. We started a little bit late because I had to squeeze in a workout. I could not wake up this morning to do it this morning. So, and it's very important to me that I do get my workouts in. So I had to do it. And we had to postpone. So I'm sorry.
According to this website, I think 7 o'clock is the end of all happy hours.
Yeah, well, it's Odd Valley happy hour. And we're so we drink and we try to educate you on some facts or on some topics. But, like I always say, the drunker we get, the more blurry the facts get. So it not be.
That's what you keep saying, but that's not necessarily true,
Might not be true.
But I don't know. I said that's not necessarily true.
But we try.
Not always.
We really do. So, but it's just really fun to just watch us and, correct us if needed and join in with us and drink with us. So as long as you're of age in your country, just please drink with us. It is fun. Really fun.
Drink along.
So today we are going to, yesterday we went to, Total Wine to prepare for this night because we were all out of beer and hard seltzers in the house because we had people over, we did some drinking. And so, we were like dry. So we went to Total Wine, and in honor of this podcast topic, we did pick some special stuff out. And when we were in the beer area, the craft beer area, we found this.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you guys could see
Can
it.
you see it?
But if you saw my tweet, I did tweet a good picture of it.
Yeah.
Let
me do this, and let's peek behind the veil. Now you can see it better.
No, you can't.
Okay.
But here it is the Lord. It is the Lord of the Rings IPA.
Did you show the part that said Lord of the Rings? Because all I could really see is brew dogs. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Now you can. Oh, and it has the actual writing.
Yep, and it's from Brew Dogs, and it's called Fellowship IPA. And we're going to. It's a hazy IPA. So we are gonna try it out and see how it goes and
Is
test
it brew?
it out.
Is it brew dogs or brew dog?
Brew Dog.
Brew dog.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Brew
Well,
Dog is
you
the
know what?
brewery here.
before we, jump deep in too,
And
let's check out their
is
website. Huh?
From Ohio.
Is it? I thought it
Well,
was
that's
from
what
Vegas.
it said. It says, please, it says brew
Take a
and canned by Brewdog Brewery Company LLC, Canal West, Winchester, Ohio.
They apparently have a music festival. That's cool. Yeah. Oh, Winchester, Ohio. Yep.
See, so from
make-
Ohio, everybody.
They're making a Hells for Oktoberfest. Oh, and there it is. You can actually see it in this picture here.
Yep.
Right? The Fellowship of the Lord of the Rings one. So
Yeah, this
it's only 5%, which is it's kind of low, on the scale of
yeah,
IPAs.
but
However, I'm sure it's delicious.
We're gonna try it out. But
can't
here
wait.
we go. I'm not gonna have a chaser for our preliminary shot because I don't want to taint the flavor of the beer, and I don't want to open another.
I thought we were gonna start with
situation.
the this other awesome thing I have here, but we'll leave as a secret for a second.
We'll leave it for as a secret.
So yeah, you don't want to
because we are gonna do that,
the
but we're
flavor of this
going
thing.
to do the preliminary shot first. Okay.
Yeah.
I was just showing the
preliminary.
beer. So here we go. We're
right.
doing we always start off with a preliminary shot.
Look at
we are doing Jameson. So that's what we're doing.
my shot glass is. I didn't realize this, but this is a chroma key shot glass, so it is see through.
Yeah, and also not gonna lie, I might get drunk pretty fast because I only had like a sandwich for lunch and then I worked out. So I don't know what's gonna happen, everyone. I really don't.
So you burned all the calories you have left there.
Yeah, so just like roll with me. If it starts getting weird, I'm sorry.
It doesn't tell us
as
the
always.
percentage. Oh no, this is 19% for this
So
one.
let's
it's not too bad.
take the shot, everybody.
All right, Jameson. That's what we drink.
And cheers.
And cheers to you. You can see a little bit of green there. Look at that. I feel like this is a big shot. So let's wish me luck.
Well, that's his fault if he poured a whole filled that thing.
You know what? It's like drinking hot fire. Hot fire. Spit the hot fire.
Fine, I'm
Shit.
gonna have to drink it truly.
Fuck. I don't have a beer or anything.
Well, it's because we're gonna.
Yeah, well, I wish I had something cool to sip. Can I take a sip of that too? Because it's just straight up fire in my
Are
in
you
my
sure?
esophagus.
Because I thought you said there's stuff in here that you can't drink.
No, just hand it. Hand it over.
Okay.
I think it'll be fine. I just need a sip of something cold.
Okay.
There you go. Well, that's not bad. Yeah, I think it has fake sugar in it. It's okay. I just had a sip. Anyway, hello.
All right. So
Welcome to the festivities, everyone.
Yeah. So we got started. So what our first drink that we're gonna drink.
Should we do the Trebek first?
No, we're gonna do Trebek right after because we're gonna introduce this. Okay.
Sure.
Because it's a special episode.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
if you guys know us, which maybe you guys don't, but we love fantasy and we love Lord of the Rings and we love the Renaissance Fair and all that stuff, which we're gonna go to because it's coming to Vegas in October.
Yeah, every October
we're doing
when
it.
it comes. Yeah.
And we wanted to keep on brand with Lord of the Rings, so we decided that we were going to look for mead, and we were going to drink some mead for this episode. Okay, I'm not very fond of mead. I've tried it before, but we're gonna go with it. We're gonna try it just for the theme of this episode. We got a special one from Total Wine. Hopefully, it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
I like the container. I picked
very
it
cool.
because of the container. And also the label. and I thought it sounded interesting, but it might go against what I'm thinking. But
The mixture of fake sugar and Jameson is probably killing me more. But continue.
I'm just gonna tell him that I told you so.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, because
for sure.
like
I'm owning up to the fact that you're right.
you could have just
You know what
told
I
me
mean?
to give you a beer.
No, but I just wanted something quick, and it doesn't matter.
Okay, well, Jacob has the special occasion drink.
Okay.
Go ahead and show the viewers what we're drinking.
Thank you for that fabulous introduction. This is Danksmjades Odin Skull.
You made it sound Japanese. Didn't
I
even
tried.
Sound.
I don't know. I don't know how to. I don't know how to speak Icelandic or whatever. You know. Is that better? Is that a better resolution? Either way, I pulled up a picture. But anyway, it's a mead.
And then he's gonna read the label.
Nordic. Oh, it's Odin Skull Nordic honey wine with sour apple juice, hops, and cinnamon added.
Mm-hmm.
I may have said that wrong.
And then read the back.
Oh, you want to read the back? Odin, one-eyed. Oh, excuse me. Let me get my Viking voice out. Odin, one-eyed and long-bearded, often carrying a spear, might be one of the most complex characters in Norse mythology. This brew is intended to honor Odin's name, master of inspiration and fury. Made solely with 100% natural ingredients, served slightly chilled in a wine glass, or warm as the mulled wine, which is what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Odin's skull ages well. There might be yeast sediment in the bottom of the bottle.
Yeah. So we're going to.
Here's
and
another picture of it.
again, we are going to, drink this as they would have,
Yes, at room temperature.
Back in those times and during Lord of the Rings, it would be in room temperature because they didn't have any type of refrigeration back then. If they were, I think they would have had to bury it in the ground or whatever.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so we're gonna do it. I have my flagon. I'm not even sure if it's a flagon. I just call it that because that's what Jacob called it.
We've talked about this before, like where we Googled what do you call that, and I just still remember flagon. I'm not sure if flagon's correct.
But this is what I got from the Ren Fair last year, and when we go this year, we're getting Jacob one because he made the mistake of not buying one when he was there the last time.
Look, you have that one. I want a wooden one.
And I'm gonna get it. I want to get a jug.
Oh, like a pitcher.
So that's what's gonna happen when I go there. I decided no more weapons for me.
No more. Oh well, yeah.
Because I don't use
she
them.
started stabbing the downstairs table with her dagger.
He says that I was doing that when I was drunk, but I was very careful. And he thinks I was gonna stab him, and I wasn't.
Oh god, that shot is like hitting me in different ways at different times.
And so we're gonna drink it like that. Up. We're gonna drink it we're gonna drink it at room temp. I'm a little nervous because I usually like all my drinks cold. Last time I had like a warm alcoholic beverage was when I had wine, and that was a long ass time ago because I don't really drink wine anymore. So here we go.
ASMR.
Nice.
Did you hear it?
Nice, I did hear it.
Did you capture it? I need to make sure to come back and get that for my soundboard later. Also, there's a little bit of meat on this mic cover.
So who the fuck cares? This is a drinking podcast.
It's not on the mic,
Yeah,
it's okay.
Like, this is a drinking podcast. Like there is bound to be alcohol on like whatever. I don't even fucking.
Actually,
know.
I wiped the table down today a little. Isn't that interesting?
Oh, nice. Good for you.
I'm taking a smell.
I'm not gonna smell that.
It smells really good.
I'm not gonna smell it. Maybe
right.
when you
Here
pour
we
it
go.
into my thing. Do it only half, okay? Because that's a big flagon.
I'm not filling this whole thing up. I'm only gonna put a bit.
Fuck. I'm a little nervous, guys, about drinking this mead. I'm not gonna lie. Like I feel kind of weird about it, but we're gonna do it because I'm committed to this. I don't even know.
I hope you saw that.
Do they even serve mead when we go to the Ren Fair? I'm not even sure.
I don't know, but I think they should.
I also think I fucked up my flagon because I think
you shouldn't be running it through the dishwasher.
Yeah, on one drunken night I think I did that.
Well,
and so now it's smooth on the outside.
Yeah.
And I don't like that.
It's because it's It's covered in like kind of an iron coating, if you will, like, and it's actually a different material underneath,
Because
so you
it's
can actually
made
tell
with
that it's
real steel.
You could tell that it's actually like almost like copper or something.
Well,
Because
it's
like
steel.
it's changing color a bit to be kind of more a brown.
It's
metal?
real steel.
'Kay.
That's what I was told. So what are you trying to tell me right now?
Real steel. I don't know.
And
It
I
might-
don't
it might be
even
like
see
an-
it
it
like
might
a
be a
little
different-
brown. I just think that it's smooth.
Okay.
Like
it
it's
might be
just
another
smoothed
compound.
it
You know
out.
what I mean? So if you don't want to, I mean, believe me or not, I just read online a little, and like when I Googled the name of that, they were saying like these things made out of this other material, not steel, but it might be like mixed with steel or something.
Whatever.
That doesn't diminish it. I'm just saying that it's like it has a different color if you run it through the dishwasher too many times.
Okay, whatever. Anyways, so now we're going to. So now we've poured our mead. Okay, we poured our mead. We're going for it.
We're gonna go for it. Did you see my armpits when I did that?
I don't know. I didn't see anything.
All
I
right,
think
we're
you should
setting
give
the
that
meat
to
aside.
me now, and then I could put it in the cooler, and then we could try it both chilled, non-chilled, and then chilled a little.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
Okay, but before we start drinking, we have another thing to do.
Yeah, we're gonna do our fucking Trebek. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna engage action cam while you explain what Trebek
Okay,
is.
so we poured our mead, so now we're going to Trebek. Trebek is our wheel of misfortune. Action cam is already initiated, and you can see it. Jacob is so what happens is we spin the wheel twice. Whatever it lands on, whenever we say those words during this podcast, we have to take a sip of our drink.
Okay.
And so right now, Jacob is going to read and spin because I do not want to do it.
Spin and read, baby.
So
All right. So, no, why don't you hum the music to Lord of the Rings while I do this?
I'm not going to do that.
How's it go?
I am absolutely not going to do that. But
That's not the right music. I was thinking the song that goes. That's not right.
okay.
All right, so here's the possible words. We got drink, drunk. We got ring. We got. I should look at the. I was looking at the
Hobbit.
screen. Hobbit. We got Tolkien. That's the author. We got elf, dwarf, orc / Uruk-hai. It's kind of the same thing. Actually, Uruk-hai are half man, half orc.
Mm-hmm,
Interesting.
Mm-hmm,
Fantasy
mm-hmm.
makes sense. Language. So the name of a language.
Okay.
Right? Book or movie, and that's all the possibilities.
Okay.
So we're going to spin it twice, and let's do it. Come on, Fate. Give us some good ones. Language.
Okay.
So if we say like Elvish, Dwarvish, English.
Okay.
Okay. Here's the next one. No whammies, no whammies. And orc or Uruk-hai.
Okay. Maybe.
Interesting.
Maybe.
Interesting.
We would have been screwed if it said fantasy.
Really? You would have said fantasy a lot, you think?
Could have. We could have that or ring.
Ring would have been great. Ring would have been
Ring
great.
would have
but,
fucked us up, but thank the
Okay,
fucking
words
Lord.
of the day are orc, Uruk-hai.
I'm not doing it.
Do it.
twice.
And then language name. That's just one. Alrighty.
All right,
so-
let's.
That's 3 bells. Let's take three sips. Ching. Let's start with 1 sip.
Lord Jesus.
Wow.
Why do people like this?
Well,
I mean, I feel like
again, we talked about this yesterday. Okay, this is mixed with a bunch of shit. You know what I mean? It's not just
Okay.
mead, right?
Look, there is so many times where I'm gonna take you through what happened yesterday.
What? I'm not
I
shitting.
said-
Look, before you even talk, okay? I didn't shit on your ideas. We read online that this is supposed to be the best mead.
And actually, it's not that bad. Okay, I just am not used to the taste because I don't like sweet stuff.
It's very
So
sweet.
I could see how it would. I could see how this is technically like because they had it under dessert wine.
Right.
So I could see how that works. I just don't know. Is this what they were drinking back then? Because like I feel like if
No.
this is what they were drinking back then like this is like how do you even get drunk off of this?
Well,
like I mean the percentage is high.
it's
but
it's
like,
19%.
What the fuck, man?
It's 19%, which is kind of on par with the wine anyway. So like I would assume you'd get as drunk as wine. But the thing that's interesting about mead, and this is what my coworker said, so I don't know about the validity of this and stuff. But he was telling me that like mead is the first type of food of any kind, and I said it's a drink. He's like, well, it's the first like kind of thing made like a food ever, right? So people have been drinking mead forever. Now, does it taste like this? No, because we didn't have high fructose corn syrup and stuff like back in ancient times.
But there isn't high fructose corn syrup in this.
Or shit tons of sugar. They would just use honey.
This is only honey.
Is it really just honey? Does it say the ingredients? I'm just saying it's like really sweet. But then again, if you've ever read the book American Gods, which I know you've seen the show, there's a moment in the book where like he drinks mead with the leprechaun guy.
Yeah, it's only made out of honey, hops, cinnamon.
Yeah, all right, well, it's a lot of honey and apple juice. Well, regardless, let's make action cam stop.
It even says made solely from 100% natural ingredients.
Okay, maybe this is what it used to taste like then, just without the apple juice. But who knows? Maybe they did add apple juice. But regardless, there was a moment in that book, again, where he's drinking with the leprechaun and Mr. Wednesday. This is pretty much right at the beginning of the book, where they drink mead because, Mr. Wednesday is giving the main character, what's his name again?
I mean, this settles really good. I think the first sip, when you first sip it, it's a little intense because I'm not used to like the honey. It's like I'm drinking a honey.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't done.
I feel like.
But continue.
Okay, go ahead.
Now finish what you have to say, and then I'll finish what I have to say.
I was gonna say I feel like I don't know why I don't think that dwarves and elves and people that go to like a bar when they're down there would drink something that tastes like this. But again, I don't know.
I'd think they would. I just don't think all of them would. You know what I mean?
But there's only one kind. It's not like how it is.
Like I was saying before, there's a moment in American Gods where to seal a deal with Mr. Wednesday, the main character has to drink mead. Right? They make a pact, but they have to drink mead because it's a Viking thing, right? Mm-hmm. But the way that that what's his name, the author, the guy who did Sandman stuff, Neil Gaiman. Mm-hmm. The way Neil Gaiman writes the way mead tastes, he says it's like very, very sweet, like deathly sweet, and like almost like overwhelmingly sweet. But then, you know what I mean, like et cetera, like basically he's basically explaining what this tastes like to me.
Okay,
right?
yeah,
you know what I mean. And so if Neil Gaiman says it, it must be true.
Okay. So
anyway, I have 2 more sips.
Okay, I already did mine, so I don't even know what's happening. But all right.
I just want to quickly shout out that there's this brewery called Old Wayfarer, I think is the name of that brewery, that makes like a beer / mead, and it's really good. It's not overly sweet. And it's like, carbonated. And so it's more palatable than this, I think.
But is that how they had it back then? Because there would have been no carbonation.
No, I don't think so. Well, because back in the day, they made ales and, Bavarian people made beer and whatever, So, like, yes, they knew how to carbonate things, but I don't think they carbonated mead. I think mead tasted like this, maybe just without the apples. Mm-hmm. But anyway, that is our analysis of this. And to be honest, after the next couple sips, it's not so bad.
Oh, I mean, true.
You're right.
So
it is smooth. It's very smooth.
But okay, let's go on to the topic. So topic at hand is Lord of the Rings, and I love the movie, but I heard
which one
through the grapevine.
You just said movie singular.
I like all of them.
So you like the series of Lord of the Rings and Hobbit, right?
I like the first Hobbit, but I didn't really like the part. But I didn't like it's the second and the third are not my favorite.
Okay.
I only really like the first Hobbit. Movie.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm kind of
Sorry.
with you. I'm kind of with you there. You're not.
But
you're not wrong.
truthfully, it's not supposed to be. It wasn't The Hobbit wasn't supposed to be a trilogy.
No, it's just one book.
It's just one book.
You know
And
what I mean?
also, I read that Tolkien was kind of pissed that he didn't want it to be a trilogy either. The book.
Tolkien?
Mhm.
I think he was dead by the time Hobbit came out. Maybe
no,
his son.
not The Hobbit. I mean
You mean Lord of the Rings?
Yes.
But Lord of the Rings was 3 books.
Yeah, but it said on IMDb that he didn't really want to make it 3.
Okay.
But I don't know how true that is. I just briefly skimmed it.
Honestly, I feel like the Lord of the Rings movies would have made better shows. Because you'd be able to really flesh everything out.
I mean, if I didn't read the books, so I can't really say, but I believe it because I feel like you should spend more time, and I think a movie, even a 2-hour movie, a 2.5-hour movie, wouldn't be able to really portray all the important things that happen in a book. So
Yeah.
so I would, I would agree with you on that.
Just the peaks end up in the movie. Whereas
Because even like Harry Potter, like that was a good translation, but there were a lot of things that kind of were changed or that were left out that
You said translation, you mean like English?
No, like I think that
That's a bell.
I hate you.
Now she gets that I'm just fucking with her. Damn,
I think
how
what's
big
getting to me is
big of
that
a
it's
sip was that?
warm.
Oh yeah, it would be better chilled for sure. Well, we're
Chilled.
drinking it like a Viking would.
I
you
know, so I'm doing it. I'm just saying. And it seems like I'm drinking a lot, but I have to be careful when I tilt the flagon because what I've learned from drinking out of this flagon is that, like, if I do it too fast, it spills everywhere.
Yeah,
So
sure
that's why
does.
now when I watch Lord of the Rings and all the dwarves are, like, drinking real fast and spilling down their beards,
Yeah,
like, I could see.
it's legit.
Yeah, I could see that happening. It's very accurate. Very accurate.
Yeah, great.
So,
That's awesome.
but, okay, you were
They're
going
not
to
just
talk
messy.
about the books.
Well, we can't just talk about the books without talking about J.R.R. Tolkien.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk a little bit about this guy, and I'll put up a picture of him right now. Here, let's see.
For like,
Start with
because
the
I
picture.
didn't know that it was a book at first. I just only knew it as the movie.
Really?
And people are gonna probably talk shit about it, but you know what? Fuck you, because that means that you're a fucking dick bag nerd. So
Whoa.
I don't like that. I don't like nerds that are like that. So but I thought that he was Peter Jackson.
He was Peter Jackson.
I thought Peter Jackson was the one that created
Does this guy look like Peter Jackson to you?
No, but I didn't know that it was a book before, so I didn't know that I didn't know who Tolkien was.
Mhm.
And when people would say Tolkien, I just thought that was I thought that was Peter Jackson, but it's not.
Okay.
So.
Well, that's
So
interesting.
when I found out that
That's
it was
also
I
interesting.
found out that there was a book and Tolkien is the author. I was like surprised that he's like dead and he's fucking old, and that the books were written like fucking forever ago. So.
Yep. So okay. So first of all, this guy was born 1892.
Yeah.
So that's how old he was.
Yeah. Which fun
You know what I
fact
mean?
is that they say that when he wrote the books, it's like it kind of mimics what was going on like with the wars
Yes.
that were happening
That's correct.
in during his time.
Well, with Tolkien, he pulled a lot from his own life to write these books. You know what I mean? Like so many things, like Hobbits and the Shire is pulled from like his real life experiences and like the world around him growing up. The thought of whisking on a peaceful creature that's in like in the Shire, like a hobbit, right, to war, to have to save the world, was basically based on his experience being like a studious kid in college or whatever, and then having to be drafted in for World War One.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So all these types of things, which is it's very interesting stuff. But just to kind of roll it back, Tolkien, he lost both of his parents kind of early in his life. He lost his dad really early, and he lost his mom when he was like 12. They just all died. So he knew loss, but growing up, again, like, there was some interesting stuff around him. There was a mill, like a lumber mill, or like maybe more of like a farming mill, which turns like corn into like grains or something, or turns grains into flour or something like that. But regardless, there's this cool mill that, a normal kid might just look at and say like, just whatever, there it is. But he saw it as like a peaceful farming thing, you know what I mean? And that's sort of like, you could say that's where he got the idea for hobbits in the Shire.
Okay.
He also lived in an area at one time where there was these two big buildings, two big towers that were hulking and scary looking, right, to him in his life, which again, he pulled from that.
Okay.
And even as a kid, he was very studious, really smart, all about his studies, all about school. He had a friend, a friend that was a girl or something, and they would write like their own languages and stuff, and like write like nerdy letters to them.
I think that's
to each
pretty
other,
interesting
and, like,
about
weird,
that. About
weird,
him.
Languages. Let's hit the bell.
Because I feel like that's interesting about him, because I just don't even know how someone just makes up a language. Like,
this guy. Okay.
How does that even?
I'll hit the bell again because you said the word. And that's why this is a good word for this story, because that's actually a really big part of
I already
Tolkien.
I took my sip before I hit that.
Fair.
It's because there's
Fair enough.
Okay, the thing with the mead is that there's a thing. I don't know what it is. I don't think it's the honey. I don't know if it's the cinnamon or the sour apple that like it hits like.
There's some kind of dankness that's like
Yeah.
ruining you.
Yeah.
There's also, remember, there's also hops in here.
Or it might be the
You know what
hops,
I mean?
but I
'Cause
like the honey flavor. Like the honey
Right.
flavor is delicious. Okay?
See, I almost feel like if we just got like regular mead, you might like it more.
Well,
because it doesn't
I
have a
said
bunch
we
of weird
should've
shit in
got,
it.
Like I said, did you want this one? Do you want this one?
No, again, we don't need to hash it out. I'm just telling you, like, in hindsight, which is always 2020, right? That, maybe you would enjoy standard mead more, is all I'm saying.
And I didn't like the one that you had last time because I think I didn't like that it was carbonated.
Well, not talking about that one. I'm talking about just, like, there was an Irish one.
No, I mean, what I'm saying is that because I
standard.
tried the mead that you had last time and I didn't like it.
No, remember we tried one called Viking Blood?
Yeah, and I didn't like that
That
one.
one was by the same people who made
I
the one we're
didn't like
drinking
that
now,
one.
and it also had a bunch of shit added to it.
I didn't like that one.
So again, I don't think you've tried standard mead. But
But
regardless,
You said the one that you had before was, what's it called? Carbonated.
I'm talking. You didn't try that one.
Oh.
You never tried Old Wayfarer. Honestly, if you tried Old Wayfarer, I think you would like it because it almost tastes like like shandies. Like
this reminds me of
summer
kombucha.
shandies. Yeah, I like kombucha though.
That's
No,
why.
but this is
and I don't
kombucha if it
fucking
were
like
really sweet and not acidic, because this is barely acidic, but it does have like a kick to it because of the hops. Like the IPAs that you like to drink are really intense because there's a ton of hops in there, right? That's what gives an IPA its intense flavor. A lot of beers have hops in it, but like it's balanced, whereas an IPA is heavy on the hops. So if you start adding hops to honey wine, you could see how that's like, like there's something in there that's fucking getting me. Well, just like an IPA, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like, that may be what it
Alright.
is. But anyway, a couple other highlights for Tolkien. He got bit by a big ass fucking spider. Baboon spider.
Oh.
Have you ever seen a baboon spider before?
No. Are we going to pull it up?
Yeah, we're going to look at a picture.
Ugh.
Ready?
Yuck.
Look at that thing.
Ew. Okay, but that
He got
doesn't-
bit by one of those.
But that doesn't
when he was
show
a
how
kid.
large it is. How large is it compared to?
Well, let's look.
Jesus God.
There's not a lot of details on how big it is.
I don't care. Don't show me.
I'm sure it's big. It looks big.
I don't want.
It looks fucking big to me.
Like, is it like the banana spider that's here?
No. It's not no banana. The banana spider is as big as our dog. Apparently, I didn't know there was a banana spider in Las Vegas.
Jesus.
But
that's why his books and his things have those. They have spiders
in them too.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what I'm getting at. Is like basically Tolkien is a master of taking his life experiences and adapting it into a way to utilize these worlds he created and languages he created over the years. Essentially melding all those ideas and memories into Middle Earth, which we know and love today. And honestly, most fantasy as we know it wouldn't really exist without Tolkien's works. Because, like, yes, there's always been folklore of, like, fairies and elves and dragons and stuff. But, like, I feel like Tolkien is the guy who actually took all that folklore. Like, a goal of his was to...
You also said the L word earlier.
I did, sure. I was waiting for that. He took all that English folklore, and I didn't say that meaning the language. And he essentially canonized it and melded it all together into what Middle Earth is. And honestly, we wouldn't have Dungeons and Dragons, right, without the works of Tolkien, because they just literally one-to-one draw all of the D&D stuff, like straight from Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit.
Yeah,
Middle
but
Earth.
then like but D&D have like more demons and stuff.
No, I know that. I'm just saying that, like, think about the roots of D&D. The roots of D&D were very simple. Like, the elf was a class. You know what I mean? You would be the elf, and then you're basically a wizard. You know what I'm saying? And it was just, like, very simple stuff. Like, most of that comes from Tolkien's work. And, like, all RPGs and fantasy things come from D&D and Tolkien. So it's, like, essentially... This is the roots of everything we love. Like you were just saying earlier, we love fantasy. That means we love Tolkien and what he did. So like here's one thing.
I would feel like we need to have like, I understand now why people have like peanuts or something when you eat this, because I feel like you need to balance it with something like salty.
Yeah, you need to, because it's just all sweet.
It's really I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just
You're really stuck on the meat.
I'm really stuck on the meat. I'm sorry. It's really my fault.
It's okay.
It's really my fault. I did this to myself. I'm just saying. Okay, go on.
No, because that. And
I'm also getting really drunk.
You could. I agree. You could say that Odd Valley is also like a drinking show too. It's like we're about getting drunk, but we do like, what's wrong with talking about what we're drinking as we drink? Yeah. But anyway, here's one quick story. Tolkien's mom, she homeschooled J.R.R. Tolkien and his sibling, right? Mm-hmm. And so he learned, like, she basically taught him a ton about botany and like plants and stuff, and just nature in general, but also about languages, including that when he was a little kid.
I dread this bell so much.
There's one more.
So
even as
much.
a kid, she taught him like fluent Latin. So like when he was a kid, he had already known that.
Because of this mead situation. Oh Lord. Okay, here we go. Help me. Help me, J.R.R. Tolkien.
He's dead. He can't help you. So yeah, he was basically just a smart-ass kid. Then he just started going to, I'm just kind of breeze through stuff.
It's so hard.
But I'm just trying to kind of connect the roots of everything to the man. And there's actually a movie about his life that we should watch. I think it's just called Tolkien. It just tells the story of his life. But there, it's stuck with like, yes, there's like he loves nature, and so that's why there's so much nature in Middle Earth and everything.
But that's cool.
He went on a trip to Switzerland through mountains, which influenced like the Hobbit's entire journey, basically. through the Misty Mountains. He like actually went through real mountains himself with a group of people. You know, this and that. It's amazing. There was a moment when he had like a girlfriend kind of that he wanted to marry, but then they drafted him to World War I, and that's he also was friends with like C.K. Lewis, the guy who made fucking The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, which is a movie I hate, but I'm sure the book's really good. And he was also very religious.
You are fucking not gonna. Don't even try.
No,
okay?
I don't know. I'll read the book.
No, but you don't
I hate the movie.
Like how you say that it's like about religion. So you're not
Yeah,
gonna
I don't
the
like
book.
that.
So why would you put yourself if you don't like the movie? You best believe that the book is probably.
I'm just trying to say that maybe the book pulls it off better. But
no.
all I'm trying the only reason I'm bringing up C.K. Lewis, besides their friendship and the fact that they would send each other's letters throughout their life, which are like a lot of them are, archived that you can read and stuff, is that they're both super religious, including J.R.R. Tolkien. That was like a big pillar of his life. So you could even say like it's interesting that he came up with all these like weird elvish religions and stuff and whatnot, and like elvish heaven and all that nonsense.
But maybe because that was supposed to represent God and heaven,
right?
So
almost like
you
can even say elves are like they actually are like angels, basically.
Yep.
And stuff like that. So like, and people have like picked apart his works to kind of talk about these things.
And then,
but C.K. Lewis was like more blatant, obviously, where he's like, hey, Jesus is a lion and fucking here's Santa Claus to give you a bow and arrow, you bitch. And that's what I don't like about it. So yeah, anyway, he goes to the World War I, and like pretty much his whole platoon died but him, or something like that happens. So he almost died, and so there's another dimension where Tolkien doesn't exist, and there's think of the different fucking world we would live in.
That would be the darkest timeline.
That would. Yes, that's true.
That would be the darkest
this
timeline.
is the darkest timeline.
Imagine not having a world of fantasy.
Right? That means fucked.
Or a fantasy where it was only a fantasy where the major, fantasy event was The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
God damn it.
Wouldn't be as cool. Wouldn't be as cool.
God damn it.
Wouldn't be as cool.
Jesus line, get out of here.
Wouldn't be as cool.
No.
Because there weren't as many, fantasy creatures. Except for the fucking, what is that thing called? The one that's a half like
satyr. It's got a goat body.
Yeah, goat body and then
human top, and he plays a flute or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pan right there. You know what I mean? That's satyr. S-A-T-Y-R.
Satyr.
That's how you pronounce that. So anyway, then he did he did all this war stuff, and then his like lady that he wanted to marry was waiting for him, but then she got engaged to some other dude, but when he came back, then they got married. And then yeah, something like that happened.
She was engaged to another dude.
Yeah, and then as soon as he came back from the war, she broke off the engagement and went with Tolkien. And then they tried to put him in World War II, but he was like, he had like health issues or something, like maybe his mobility or something like that. So he didn't have to go into World War II, I believe. This could be wrong. Remember that I did not have a lot of time to read or listen to things
this is why
talking
I gave
about
the
this.
Disclaimer in the beginning.
Thank you very much. But he did eventually graduate from some college, I think Oxford or something. Mm-hmm. He also went to like this cool tavern or bar or whatever, pub.
Tavern is what I was thinking about when I was saying that the elves go to. I was like a tavern, not a pub.
Yeah, pub works if it's later.
God.
But anyway,
I want to build a tavern here in Las Vegas.
That would be incredible. We should do it.
But we're not talking about it.
That's our lifetime goal. Anyway, so he used to go to this cool like pub where a bunch of like legendary writers used to go to or something. So that's at least worth looking into. It's interesting. He gave like, college course lectures, and then he started to like essentially became a linguistics like professor and like study stuff, right?
Where was this? In Finland, Switzerland?
No, he's English.
English. Okay.
He's, you know,
British.
England.
In England.
That's-
So what pub did he go to?
It was called like the Ink Drop or something like that. I don't know.
Because we should go there when we do our trip there.
It may not exist anymore, but again, we'll look into it later because I just don't have it in front of me at the moment. So long story short, he spent his life studying language and essentially started just building his own. And that's sort of like built upon what he was already doing.
Isn't this almost done?
We're almost there.
I'm talking about the mead. I don't
Oh.
care. What you're saying is interesting. I just want to get rid of this crap.
We're almost there. So then, yeah, he started making his own to support the kind of stories he was already building. Like, he was already kind of creating the world of Middle Earth and all its creatures and stuff. And, like, kind of putting it together here and there. And then he started building what would become the Silmarillion as something else, was sort of a failed world or story. And then he started to kind of work on something else. And apparently, and this is really interesting. So apparently, the story of how he created The Hobbit was that he was grading papers and someone had turned in a blank page, right? And so then he just started writing on the page and the words came out. The first couple sentences of The Hobbit. In the hole, or in the it was like, in the ground there was a hole, and in the hole there's a hobbit. Something like that. That's like the first sentence of The Hobbit. And he started reading that.
Mm-hmm.
Pandafin in chat says, "Is there also a left Earth and a right Earth?" Yeah. What other directions is there than middle? Center? Above Earth?
Because middle is like,
Is here. This is Earth.
it's
Because when you read The Hobbit, they talk about Middle Earth as like, no, that's just Earth like a long ass time ago, which is actually interesting. Again, these aren't bad books, Mochi Squeeze. You probably should read them.
I probably should read them.
You know what I mean? And so should I, to be honest. I read The Hobbit when I was in middle school. Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, I like reading. You know that. So
Yes.
then, I probably should read them. I don't know why I didn't read them back in the day. But
Yeah.
to be honest, it was probably because, like, back then I was just still trying to be cool or something. And I thought it was,
Right.
like, nerdy. But, like,
Yeah.
I didn't want to come to terms with the fact that I really loved fantasy. Like,
Yeah.
really loved it.
I feel like just 2 weeks ago you finally came to that realization.
I love
You
fantasy.
finally accepted that you love fantasy. Like,
No,
only 2
I
weeks
feel
ago.
like I've always accepted I love fantasy, but I always felt like I was a fantasy sci-fi kind of person.
yeah.
But then I really love fantasy more than I love sci-fi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even though I totally believe that Nessie is real, but I don't know if that
That's a fantasy.
quantifies as sci-fi. Yeah, see, it's a fantasy. See,
That's a
again,
fantasy.
it's
Because that's more magical.
yeah.
What are you trying to say? If if Nessie was real and it was science fiction, motherfucker would be Robo. That'd be like a... It would be Mecha Nessie.
But I do love
Mecha Nessie.
but I
dude.
do love aliens.
That's great.
I mean,
Yes, I mean, so you like genres. Your
just-
favorite genre is fantasy.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
And I think like a big part of your fantasy love, book wise, especially, and books are part of your heart, is Harry Potter.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but you know what? You read these books, you might like them.
Yeah.
You might really have a place in your heart.
Yeah,
for them
you
as
know
well.
what? It's true, because if you bought me a book that was if you bought me 2 books and it was like a fantasy book or a sci-fi book, I probably would read the fantasy book.
See,
Sci-fi.
what if they were about like
'cause
almost
I remember
the same
you
thing
bought
too?
me that book called Red Mars or something, or the Red
Oh yeah,
Planet. And
this is
I-
when we first started. Like we were very like
it
we were
was
really early.
not really,
'Cause I
was
didn't
not
really know you
into
that
it.
well.
But, yeah.
But anyway, that was a long time ago.
I
So
tried.
anyway, yeah, as long as you tried, I guess. Not all books are good. So yeah, he started to develop these languages to kind of support. Well, he was already kind of
You're
into
killing
that.
me, Smalls.
Like I was saying before, he was already making them when he was a little kid, right? Like he did like 2 different ones with this girl that he was friends with when he was a kid. And then he started making more languages later, and he became a fucking linguistics professor. You know? And to the point where he like
Lord Jesus.
he knows like everything about language in general, and now he's just making his own like legit ones. And essentially Middle Earth and the books of Middle Earth are to kind of utilize all of that on top of all of the imaginative cool shit that he was thinking about drawing from his own life, like we were saying before. So then we have, and then I'm about to say 2 more. So are you almost done with your mead?
No.
I'm going to say 2 more. And I have to take 2 sips.
It's so gross. I'm going to kill myself. Okay, go on.
Well, you want to pour it in here and I'll drink it?
No.
Right.
No. I said
You might
I
need to
was
give me
gonna
another
do it.
beer because I'm almost done.
Okay, I said I was going to do it.
Maybe I didn't give myself enough.
I fucking said I was going to do it,
All right.
and so I'm going to finish this mead. At least this round of mead, but I'm not going back to the mead.
Can you have me a beer, please? Because I'm out. I might not have poured it more as much in mine, and I kind of feel bad.
The thing is, like, the rough part is just the beginning part of the mead. You know, like,
Yeah.
like fucking sipping the mead is the hardest part. But once it's in my mouth and I've swallowed it, it's like
It's already
it
good.
tastes fine. It's just the first touch on the taste buds is like, I don't know what it is. It's like,
You know that song Mary Poppins sings where she's like, just a spoonful of sugar,
Oh,
it makes the
God.
medicine go down.
God.
But this is all sugar, so I don't know. It's not really working. It's not really fucking
Lord.
working.
I'm really trying, man. I'm really.
But
really
yeah,
trying
he
to make that.
invented Quenya. Just take that as 1 bell. Because, I just correct myself. And Sindarin. That's the other one. So I'll drink 3 because I owe 3 now.
I think.
Ooh, dude, you got to
Yeah.
finish the mead so you can get to this beer because it's not too bad.
Okay, just everybody.
This does not this does not taste sweet at all. You know what I mean? Compared to that fucking mead. You almost there? Did you finish it?
What was it?
I'm going to give you a sec.
What was it? What was it?
So yeah,
What was
that's about it. And we can go more into like when he wrote the books and stuff. But
But
let me
didn't you write it like a long ass?
Yeah, I'm gonna flip over to
Let's have
those
a-
articles now. So let's start with The Hobbit.
Okay, if this is Odin's skull, I don't want to know the rest.
Odin's skull tastes like a fucking honey nightmare.
Lord, help me.
Ah!
Maybe it's like the sour apple. Maybe it just doesn't go with
See
it.
what I mean? See what I mean? I think we should just try regular, like, basic recipe mead and really give it a true
We
try.
tried to make mead that one time.
No, I'm saying basic recipe mead created and brewed by someone. We buy a bottle of it and we just try regular ass mead and see if that's good or if it's also gross. But I bet you if we chill this, it'll actually be delicious. It'll be what's the word I'm thinking about? Like a gastro something. When like you eat your dinner and then you have a little bit of a like a dessert style cocktail at the end. Aperitif. Thank you very much. I feel like this would be a good chilled aperitif.
No, because aperitif is supposed to be a digestive.
Okay, well, whatever.
Or is it?
I don't know.
I fucking don't know.
I don't fucking know.
I don't know.
I don't fucking know.
This meat is ruining my brain.
I don't fucking know.
Okay, hold on. Okay.
No,
That's
I broke this. Nope. Nope. I broke my browser. That's one way to break a browser, huh? I don't know what's happening.
Okay, I did it.
Okay, there it goes. Nope. All right, there it goes.
I did it. Okay. Let's move on.
Okay, so anyway, The Hobbit. It was published. God, I was gonna say publicized, publicated. That's none of those words exist. It was published 21st of September 1937. Isn't that crazy? You wanted to do this Lord of the Rings episode in
It's
September,
fucking crazy.
and it was like published like a week from today.
See?
You know?
It was,
Perfect.
the universe
Well, The Hobbit.
telling us that it was time. You know that also, I just have to say a quick thing that it is Mexican Independence Day.
It is.
Real Mexican Independence Day today.
I know. And we're not even. Well, no, we're having rice and beans.
We
and
are,
stuff.
and we're having
Taquitos.
chips and salsa, and because we got some food later, so
Let me ask you a question. If like there was a fantasy creature in Mexico, which one do you think would flourish the most?
a fantasy creature in Mexico.
Yeah, like dwarf, elf, hobbit. You know,
Mm,
gnome, dragonborn, human.
I feel like
I guess that's not really goblins. Nah, come on, Goblins will work in. You know where goblins would love to live, is in Appalachia. Same with dwarves.
I feel like
Or what kind of
excuse me.
fantasy creatures would we find in Mexico? I don't know. We'd have to know the Mexican culture
Yeah, we would have
stuff.
The
You know what I mean?
Mexican
I feel
culture.
like, we know about chupacabras, but that's Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Do you know
Puerto
that?
Rico.
Everyone equates that with Mexico, but it's actually Puerto Rico. If you didn't know
Yeah,
that.
no, we would have to
Yeah.
know Mexican
Mhm.
like lore to know.
All I really know when it comes to folklore and like cryptids and stuff is the Quetzalcoatl, and I don't know if I'm saying that correct.
Well, I feel like
And that's like almost
if
like
it
a
w-
big
if you were
ass
talking about what
dragon.
fantasy thing would be in the Philippines, it would definitely be a vampire.
The Aswang.
Yeah, because of the swan.
Oh, the Aswang.
So it
Well,
would-
apparently, you should finish that one Netflix show. That show was dope. Where it
I
was all
did
about,
fucking finish that show,
It was all about like
but
demons
they
and stuff.
didn't renew it, so they
That's
can
actually
fuck
like
off.
if you don't know about oh my god. Well, there's an anime that's kind of similar to that actually.
Yeah,
that
and I
I've
bet
been
you it's
watching.
not a Filipino one.
No,
so
but
that's why everyone is okay with that one.
Well, that's sad
Don't
they
get me
canceled it.
started. Don't get me
I'm sorry. So yeah, The Hobbit, 1937. That's when it came out.
Okay.
But let's just quickly cover it. The Hobbit is about Bilbo Baggins, all right? And he is a hobbit. What is a hobbit, Mochi Squeeze?
A
You know?
hobbit is a really short thing that has big feet that are
Uh-huh.
hairy, and they live in a shire in a hobbit hole,
Yeah.
and they like to smoke weed and eat.
So me, but
Yeah.
I'm 5'9", so I'm a little too tall for a hobbit.
But
But
Jacob
I'm
would
basically
totally
a
be a hobbit.
100%.
100%.
You know, I like to
Only
smoke
if he was
things.
shorter.
I like to eat stuff. I want to just.
He has
I
hairy
want to hide in my
feet.
hole.
He's
I
hairy.
got hairy. Fuck! I'm a
He's
hobbit,
hairy.
aren't I?
He's a
I'm a
hobbit.
goddamn hobbit.
Mhm.
Yeah.
See?
I'm just gonna say the word.
He's Sam.
What? Orc. I forgot the other word. Fuck.
That's who he is. And if he had
You
to
call
be-
me Samwise Gamgee? I
Yeah.
take that as a massive compliment. Thank
Yeah,
you.
you are. He likes to cook.
True.
He's really just worried about trying to get back to his lady that he didn't confess his love to. He's
Okay.
like, you know,
Sure.
he like
Uh-huh.
cooks.
You said that already.
He's a little bit round.
You know what? I feel like this is time. This is time enough to pull this video up.
a little bit round.
This is
He gets really angry at stuff.
okay. Is that a Hobbit quality? I don't think so. Why is my fucking thing freezing up?
Sam gets angry at stuff.
What's happening here? Why is this happening? I'm sorry, guys. That was some
You
weird
know,
music.
he is courageous at some point.
Oh, you call me courageous.
Because you are sometimes.
Oh, that's
I
incredible.
mean, when you really want to be, you are.
Hmm.
Especially when you're trying,
I
when
guess
you
you're right.
take people through their, through their drug travels.
All right. Now's the time for me to play this video. Ready? Please watch it.
What we need's a few good taters.
Yeah, see?
Hold on.
What's taters,
Oh,
precious?
Lord.
What's taters, huh? Potatoes. Boil 'em, mash 'em,
Yeah.
stick 'em in a stew. Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew. Boil 'em, mash 'em, boil 'em, boil 'em, boil 'em, mash 'em.
They really made a
boil 'em,
thing.
mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew. Boil 'em, mash 'em, boil 'em, boil 'em. Potatoes, potatoes.
Yeah, and Jacob loves potatoes.
Mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew. Boil 'em, mash 'em, stick 'em in a stew.
Okay, Like,
Did you like? Did you like that?
And Jacob,
Was that cool?
you love potatoes. Like
fucking
sometimes
love them.
randomly he'll be
I
like, I
fucking
feel
love
like
them.
we should have baked potatoes. I'm like, what? And then whenever we have like a steak or
Give me a
something,
potato.
he's always like,
Give it to me
what
now.
should we get? What should we get as sides? Potatoes? I'm like, okay. I mean, what about spinach?
No, this is what I say. Do you want some potatoes?
Yeah.
Boil them, mash them, stick them in the soup. Boil them, mash
I
them,
just
stick them in
can't
the soup.
believe like no
You like
one
it?
told you that you were
What?
Sam.
Samwise Gamgee?
And no one tell you that before?
No,
Is this
because
the first
here's
time
the problem.
someone's telling you
Here's the
this?
problem. People don't call me things that they don't know about. And most people that would say that aren't watching fucking Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit.
Are you trying to
You know
tell
what I
me that people that you hung out with before me never watched Lord of the Rings?
No, they'd call me fucking Crybaby Jones.
I mean, because
It's
you
accurate.
didn't watch Lord of the Rings.
It's accurate. No, they're all nerds.
It's
The
accurate.
nerds used to call
but
me
you,
Crybaby Jones.
Okay, the nerds used to call you Crybaby Jones?
Yeah.
Okay, they should have known about Lord of the Rings, and they should have
Yeah,
been
but they
like-
weren't calling me the Hobbit because back then it wasn't like it was just kind of happening. Anyway, hobbits are between 2 and 4 feet, with average height being 3 feet 6 inches. They dress in bright colors, favoring
You
yellow and
don't.
green, apparently.
You don't dress in bright colors, but
And they're courageous, and they're adept at throwing stones.
you could throw a stone.
The only thing that's wrong about me being a hobbit is that they cannot grow beards,
They can't grow beard.
according to this. Yeah, their feet are
When
covered
we
with
were
curly hair
watching-
and have leathery soles.
Oh,
Have leathery soles, so hobbits hardly ever wear shoes.
you got that. We got those. Sorry, exposed. Exposed for what he
Expose.
is.
So anyway, the tale of the Hobbit.
You know, you're right. In all the movies, the hobbits don't have beards.
True, because they can't
They're
can't
not
grow them.
supposed to grow them.
It's just because they're nice folk. Whereas
Huh.
because you also need to be able to distinguish between them and dwarves. So when he's writing these books, he's thinking like,
But
well, the dwarves
don't
are
have big
tough.
feet.
No, the dwarves are tough and hairy. The hobbits are small and nimble, and they exude the look of youth, but then they got nasty feet.
But I would think that a gnome or a dwarf would look. Well, no, not a dwarf, but a gnome
Mhm.
would look more clean cut.
Nobody's talking about gnomes.
Oh,
Why
did
are you
we
bringing
not
up
talk
gnomes?
about gnomes?
No, I said dwarves and
Oh.
hobbits.
But dwarves are more like stocky though.
Correct.
Like they're like thick.
I know, but they're also like, quote unquote, more manly, right? They're more like, I'm sweaty and stinky and like getting stuff all over me and I'm covered in beard hair. You know what I mean? Whereas a hobbit's like, you're getting dirt into my house. You know what I
Oh.
mean?
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? They
I can
can't
see
even
that.
grow fucking
Okay.
hair on their face. So anyway, the tale of the Hobbit. It's about Bilbo Baggins being enlisted by a wizard to go with a bunch of dwarves. Drafted.
by a wizard.
True. Yeah. Good point. To help the dwarves retake their homeland, which apparently there's some sort of like comparison that the dwarves are like Jewish people or something maybe, because their homeland was taken before Israel was established again. There's that. But let's not talk about that.
We're not talking about that.
So then they have some crazy adventures, right? They meet some trolls that almost eat them, but then they keep them talking. So then they become they get turned to stone because the sun comes out. The sun rises.
Are we just talking about the movie now?
No, we're talking about the book. This is what happens in the book. And then what else? They hang out with with the elves in Rivendell, who help them uncover the secret letters on the map using the moon. That happens. And then they have to they find the old dwarven city, right? And they have to like figure out the riddle of the door to open up the door to go
I
into the
hate
dwarven
riddles.
city. And actually, before that, before that,
I hate riddles.
he ends up with what's his name? Smeagol. What's his name again? Gollum. He ends up through chance falling with Gollum into like a cavern, finding Gollum's ring, and then basically like to keep Bilbo alive, or to not. Basically, what happens in the book is that Gollum wants to eat Bilbo because he's fallen into his lair. But the only way for Gollum to not eat him is for Bilbo to answer some riddles.
Yeah, spoiler alert, Gollum is a cannibal.
If anyone I guess so, yeah, technically. Well, he doesn't even care about that stuff. English.
Did you see me wink?
Just hit the bell. So he has to answer some riddles, which he does, and then Gollum, mad, comes at him, and he wears the ring. It turns him invisible. And then through the plot of The Hobbit, you think the ring is just an invisibility ring, right?
We just
That's all you think.
Through the whole damn thing.
Well, no, yeah, we're just talking about the plot of the book, okay? At this, like, if you've never read The Hobbit or watched The Hobbit, it came out in 1937. Spoiler alert: you should know this book. If you know.
And also like
there's also a big scene where he hangs out with the dragon invisibly, and Smaug like goes crazy and whatever.
And Smaug is like the most boringest dragon. I
in
tweeted
the movie
that, and it's
in the
very
movie.
true.
In the movie, in the book, is he
more
it works
intense
better.
in the book? Because I
yeah,
feel
it works
like
better. They just like in the way that works in the book is that Bilbo's invisible, and the dragon knows he's there, and he's all like, "You're here, and I'm gonna kill you." And then Bilbo's like, and then that's kind of what happens. And he chases him out and destroys the town, right?
Okay, but how is that not boring?
It's not boring. Well, like, here's the thing about The Hobbit. The Hobbit is supposed to be like a children's book. So it's written like a children's book, basically. You know? So think of all the children's stories that you ever told. Like, was there like, oh, and their swords clashed? No, it's like they talked. And then the guy left because he was mad. You know what I mean?
No,
like that's,
what's it called?
That's what happened.
In the Three Pigs, they said the wolf huffed and puffed and blew his house down.
Yeah, and Smaug huffed and puffed and flew out and destroyed a town.
And Smaug,
that's what happens.
Crawled around in his lair and talked to someone that was invisible.
Sure. And then he destroyed a town and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, point is, at the end of the book, Bilbo finishes everything's cool, everybody wins, whatever. Bilbo gets some treasure and he goes home, but he's still got that ring. And that's the thing is like, I don't know how much of the ring was like a part of the story, as important as this to the story as when he like created Lord of the Rings, when he was like probably sitting there thinking like, hey. And we already got these rings. Maybe that one ring could be like an ultimate item. That might be an interesting story. You know what I mean? So, like, that's what I theorize happened. Now, could I look it up on Wikipedia? Sure, if I had time to research things. You know what I mean?
Well, it was really hard this week.
But, yeah, we're not there. So, then he writes Lord of the Rings, which the first book to come out in Lord of the Rings,
The Fellowship of the Rings.
It came out in July 29th, 1954. So, like, 20 years later, you know? So, like, again, just to think about, like, The Hobbit, a children's book, still kind of using the world that he had been creating all these years. Really fleshed out 20 years later, almost 20 years later, when The Fellowship of the Ring came out. Really intense, dude. And great stuff. So, like, I don't know, man. I love the stories.
He really meant to write like a whole book, or was he just writing something, you know, with his girlfriend or whatever the fuck, and then and then they were just like, and some people just saw his stories and were just like, oh, we should make it into this book.
Basically what happened was Tolkien had been building this kind of like mythos and like Middle Earth and all this stuff for so long. The Hobbit was a way for him to kind of like market it and make it work so like people can consume it and he can make some money other than just being a teacher like his whole life. And then the success of The Hobbit meant that he could keep developing Middle-earth into something more with more depth, something not for just for children. You know what I mean? Something real and huge to really incorporate everything. And I think it's just the trail thread of like, okay, we already know what Middle-earth is in The Hobbit, right? There's already elves, there's already dwarves, there's already fantasy shit happening. Let's take that ring that Bilbo has and make it important, right? Let's build around that. Oh, let's continue to expand this world and make it interesting and like put other characters in here and have them kind of interact with like a massive plot. You know, let me take all these languages I've been making since the beginning or since fucking forever and like put them to use, right? And that's how you get the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Is all of those pillars of what J.R.R. Tolkien was doing on top of like he's still pulling from his life experiences, wars, towers, you know, hobbits, farmers in his life, right? Nature, his mom taught him that, right? Language, which is a big part of his life. His whole life has been all about that. That's 2.
Surprisingly, that's
Give me one
so
more.
funny that we're just saying that word more than anything else.
We haven't really gotten into it. You want to talk about orcs?
Look,
Hit the bell. What? It's interesting stuff. This is a great topic, by the way. You picked an incredible topic.
no.
What did you said look. What do you want to say?
I was mad that you just said that because I had to drink again.
Okay. So the title Lord of the Rings, story's main antagonist, the Dark Lord Sauron, is wait, what did I just read?
See? You don't know.
What? Okay, I just read something that said Lord of the Rings is really an allusion to like Sauron, right? Because obviously Sauron himself is the Lord of the Rings, right?
I mean, I guess, because he's the one that had the one true ring.
But you can take it as a double entendre.
Which also is like...
Because you got...
So someone
would be
made
the Lord of the
one
Rings
ring.
Who would be the Lord of the Rings besides Sauron? You could argue that it might be Frodo, right?
No, but then... Yeah, but then...
Or you might say he's Lord of the Ring. But there's only one Lord of the Rings, plural. And that's Sauron. Because, okay, so let's talk about the plot of Lord of the Rings. What is Lord of the Rings about, right? The Hobbit, we have that children's story, we have adventures, right? Bilbo has that ring of invisibility. Well, guess what? That ring, created by the Dark Lord, millennia ago.
Wait.
2,000 plus years ago, was created. And then before he created the One Ring, he had created the Rings of Power. Now, what are the Rings of Power, you might ask?
Okay. Time out.
What?
Okay, listen to me.
What do you want?
Because you said,
What?
because when we
What'd I
were
say?
watching the Rings of Power,
Uh-huh.
you said that that
Yeah.
Elrond was going to go with
Celebrimbor.
created the rings.
Celebrimbor.
Yeah,
Yes.
Celebrimbor created the rings. So if you just said that Sauron created the rings.
Well,
So are you telling me that Celebrimbor is Sauron? Is that what you're trying to tell me right now?
Celebrimbor?
Is that his name?
No.
What's his name?
Listen, okay? I'm just going to straight up read this from Wikipedia. And I'll pull it up behind you.
Because
All right,
I
so you can see.
thought that
Here we go.
Sauron was a dark elf.
Can I please read this? The Rings of Power were forged by the elven smiths of the Noldoran settlement of Eregion. So let's see. Noldor are a kindred of high elves who initially migrated to Valinor from Middle-earth and lived in Eldamar, the coastal region of Aman, a continent that lay west of Middle-earth.
Yeah, where
The majority-
fucking
hold on.
Galadriel is from.
The majority of Noldor returned to Middle-earth following the murder of the first leader of Finwë by the Dark Lord Morgoth on the instigation of Finwë's eldest son Fëanor. They were the second clan of elves in both order and size, the other clans being the Vanyar and Teleri. So that I don't know what the fuck I just read, but I'll just say that like there's not just like an elf, right? There's like different elf clans. There's different types of elves, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, getting back into it, that's the Noldorans in Eregion. Those are the ones who forged the Rings of Power. The Smiths were led by Celebrimbor, the grandson of Fëanor, the greatest craftsman of the Noldor, working with dwarves from Khazad-dûm, a.k.a. Moria.
No. You're about to... No. We need to stop right now. We need to stop right now.
What? Why?
Because then you're going to ruin the show for me.
Why?
Because we right now in the
because the Rings of Power.
Yeah.
So you don't want to know.
We can't know. I can't know. You need to stop right now.
Okay. Well, you want to know. You want to know about fucking Celebrimbor.
No. We can't know. And I'm sorry, viewers. We can't know because I'm.
Okay. Can I summarize it?
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead. I don't need to know about
Celebrimbor. Celebrimbor is a Noldoran who lives in Eregion. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. It's all fake. Okay? He's the elven smith leader. He's the guy who's like, all right, all the best people, like blacksmiths, all the best elvish blacksmiths in the land are led by a man named Celebrimbor. So the Rings of Power were created by him and his clan. Okay?
Okay.
Which I told you that. Which, if you know the video games, Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor and Middle-earth: Shadow of War, you already know who Celebrimbor is. He's actually, at that point, a fucking vengeful spirit because he'd essentially been turned into a ring wraith at that point. Not a massive spoiler. You already know that he has to be cursed if he's the one who made the Rings of Power.
Yeah, but
I'm just saying, like,
a ring wraith, but
he's technically a ring wraith, but he's also not because.
So is he the leader of the ring wraith?
No, because the ring wraiths are
at the end,
men.
He's like,
the ring wraiths are humans.
Okay, yeah,
okay,
that's what I
but
heard.
he's an elvish ring wraith, which means that he's able to resist the ring wraithness but still be undead. And he essentially melds his body with a nameless ranger, or he might have a name, which is the main character of Shadow War. And then essentially you're half ranger man, half elvish spirit. And you have the powers of both. And it's a badass game.
Okay.
But anyway, I'm getting in the weeds. So essentially what happens here is that Sauron somehow gets Celebrimbor and his clan to forge the Rings of Power as gifts to the leaders of all of the races on the planet, right? Or I should say all the races of Middle-earth. All the leading races of Middle-earth.
Okay.
And that is not hobbits, because all hobbits give a fuck about is making mead and farming
it's only
and chilling,
elves,
right? It's the elves, the men, and the dwarves.
And the dwarves.
All the kings of all those races, right? So they give them the Rings of Power, and what they don't know is that the Rings of Power are actually supposed to be used to enslave them. Because when Sauron has the One Ring, only one of these type of rings is forged. When he has the One Ring forged for him by specifically Celebrimbor. Okay. Celebrimbor is the one who makes the Ring of Power specifically. Once he puts it on, he can now control them. He turns all the men into the ring wraiths.
So we need to know.
The elves say, fuck these rings. We know they're bad, so they don't use them. And some of the dwarves use them as well. And it basically destroys most of society at this point. And that's how I'm led to believe, at least, through the movies. Because I didn't read the books. I was wanted to, and I probably should. So that's what's up with the Rings of Power. And the One Ring is the most powerful ring. The One Ring to rule them all. And this is actually what it says. One ring to rule them all. One ring to find them. One ring to bring them all. And in the darkness bind them. And that's the fucking ring that's in Bilbo Baggins' possession at the end of The Hobbit. And at the beginning of Lord of the Rings, a.k.a. the Fellowship of the Ring, he still has it, and he's older, and it's in the future. And his nephew, Frodo Baggins, has to bear the weight of the responsibility of carrying the One Ring and doing something with it. Gandalf wants him to take it somewhere, right? And that's kind of the start of their adventure.
Yeah.
Intense stuff, right?
Very.
Orc. That's 3. Now, just to roll it back, isn't it crazy that, like, we were talking about all this plot and all this crazy shit? When you look at J.R.R. Tolkien, it's like, it was just an outlet for him to use all of his, like, academic studies, in a way, to make some money. Therefore, basically creating mythology for England like he wanted to, but also essentially creating the genre of fantasy in the process.
Yep.
You know? It's fucking crazy to me, dude. It's insane. Now, I'm going to open the floor to you. Do you have any questions? Do you have anything you want to ask about?
I do not.
Do you want to discuss a specific thing about these books?
I do not.
So, all right. Well, let's just quickly kind of gloss over what the books are about, right? So, the Fellowship of the Ring is Frodo Baggins bearing the weight of the quest. With his Hobbit buddies, they join forces with an elf, a dwarf, a couple humans, and that leads to the Two Towers, because essentially that's where Samwise Gamgee and Frodo Baggins split off onto their own journey, whereas Pippin and Merry get captured by orcs. That's a bell. What's an orc? Can we talk about orcs real quick? And goblins? So apparently they had always been on the planet even before all this shit went down. Because if you remember, Gandalf, we haven't been talking about Gandalf yet. There's so much to talk about. Gandalf's a wizard.
No.
Gandalf, you guys know about, like, Hercules? Joy, Mochi, what's Hercules? Can you tell me?
Hercules? The god?
He's not a god. What is he?
I don't know.
Have you ever heard the term demigod?
Okay, demigod
What's a demigod?
is a half human, half god.
Right.
Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, there is a short period of time where I'm going to be able to make it to the end of this podcast because I am really drunk.
Are we going to have to do a second part to this?
Probably.
Oh my god, that's so exciting. I'm so excited we could talk more Tolkien.
There's too much to talk about with Lord of the Rings.
Quick question. Did you like what you learned today about Tolkien?
I did. It was very interesting. Like I told you, I didn't even know about Tolkien like at all.
That's super cool to me.
So, I mean, I'm...
So, yeah, let's just talk about it. I mean, we kind of gloss over what's a dwarf. You know, it's a stocky dude who lives in the mountains and mines for things, drinks a bunch. They're basically Scottish people.
I feel
right?
like as I evolve into, like, every year that I watch Lord of the Rings, because I always do a marathon every once in a while, and you know that. At first I felt like, oh, I love the elves. You know, like...
Right, of course. Why would you not?
I want to be an elf. Because, like, you could be like, oh, yeah, but what about the ranger? About, you know...
Strider?
And I do love him, but it's like...
He's so awesome.
Why would I want to be human? I'm already human. So I automatically, I'm like, okay, well, an elf, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then, like... And you're drawn to an elf because an elf is like, you know,
that's Rivendell behind you.
You know, because they're pretty, they're tall, they always look young, you know, everything that American society wants you to believe.
They're basically immortal.
You are.
You
should want.
Basically immortal.
Right?
You want to die.
Then, like, I'm just like, okay, yeah, and also because I'm scared to die, so I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, as I watch it more, I'm like, oh, but elves are so, like, pretentious. Like, they're like a little pinky up. They're like, you know, they're too stuck up. They're just like fucking fucked, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I start to be like, okay, a dwarf is like where it's at. You know, like sure they're a little ugly and short, but they're
ugly?
fun, right? Like
Yeah,
they're
great.
fucking
I
fun.
love them, dude.
They break shit because they're strong enough. They like, you know, drink all the time.
They drink a lot. Yeah.
And they drink a lot and still be able to hold their shit.
Dwarves can be,
You know, like
a dwarf can have the title of a brewmaster.
yeah, I mean,
come on.
seriously,
That's tight.
and they're like, and they're not stuck up. They're just like, you know,
No way.
like let's like if you could drink with me, we're good, right? And so I'm
Pretty
just
much,
like,
yeah.
okay. And so, and then now, like as like you get older, you're like, but Strider, you know, human. You'd be good with being a human too, you know.
You are a human
You know.
right now.
So I
You're,
feel like
you're literally
it just,
right now. You're a human.
yeah, I feel like it's just like a lot of evolving.
So you
happening.
came around all the way back to human.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I get that.
Yeah.
I feel like, I mean, if we're talking D&D and stuff, like I know I identify more with like a half elf or like a half something, because I'm a halfie myself, you know.
Yeah.
So, but regardless, we were just talking about something. What was
I'd
it?
never be. An
Oh,
orc.
yeah, we want to talk about the races a little bit. Why'd you hit that?
I said I would never be an
Orc?
word.
Oh, no, of course not. So if I remember correctly, within the Middle Earth lore, orcs used to be elves at one point. And they were kind of like seduced by the dark side and morphed into what they are now, you know? And there's a kind of a loose thing between goblins and orcs. Sorry, I had to say that one.
I'm gonna fucking
Hit the bell, please.
murder you.
Or hit the bell and grab me a drink.
I'm gonna kill you.
Can you grab me a drink, please? Don't kill me.
I'm gonna grab you a drink, but I'm gonna tell you right now.
I'm literally just talking, okay? I'm not saying it on purpose. The difference between them is almost undiscernible in the Hobbit lore. But, like, we all know that they are different, right? Whereas, like, a goblin is small, just a tiny little guy, little asshole with the green skin and being a dick. Whereas the O's, right? I'm not saying it, right? I'm being respectful to you now. They're more man-sized. They're more vicious. They're less, like, scurrying thief types. And they're more, like, big buff fuckers. Whereas the Uruk-hai, and I know that is the word, and I apologize, but we have to say it one time.
I hate you.
They're half man, half O, created by Saruman during this timeline to specifically oppose the people trying to take down Sauron, which we didn't even talk about Sauron, but he is the Dark Lord. He's trying to destroy the world or take it, enslave it, or whatever. He's the bad guy. He's the bad guy. But he's also the bad guy in the past, too. Like, Sauron's been around forever. But we all, I mean, who doesn't love a Hobbit? You know? At the end of the day, when you look at all these races, they have all these, like, problems. They have all these ambitions. And a Hobbit is just like,
Okay.
give me good...
I could drink this.
Give me good beer. Give me good cheese. You know, give me a good roast. Bake me a delicious cake.
It also kind of
Let's
tastes like
dance
dirty
and
feet.
hang out. Okay.
30 feet water.
All right.
But I guess I can make it happen.
This one is Rogue Pumpkin Patch Ale. Ooh, damn, this is really pumpkin-y. All right, so anyway, let's get into the fun stuff. We're going to have to do a part 2.
Yeah, because I'm
Simple.
getting really drunk, and
I know.
I'm going to have to pee and eat something soon because I'm going to kill something.
Yeah, don't kill me. See your boy over here, he's got pee too. But I did want to at least bring up this really quick. This is just for fun. Did you
Okay.
ever see any of the cartoons?
No.
Okay. And we'll cut this out probably for the VOD. So look in the description below for the link of both of these trailers I'm about to play, because I have a feeling I'm going to have to cut them out. So Here we go. In 1977, there was a Hobbit cartoon made. I watched it before I read the book, and I thought it was cool.
You did in 1977.
No, I watched it when I was a kid in the 90s.
Okay, because
Thank you very
you
much.
have to clarify that because you said it was made in 1977.
It was made in 1977, but damn, what a great movie. So, let's just straight up watch a trailer, sound and all, and I'll edit it out. No worries. Here we go. Look at this shit.
In a hole in the ground,
Let me preface this before we get into it, that this is the first time I'd ever experienced any J.R.R. Tolkien stuff at all. So, like, to me, this is the legit Hobbit.
there lived a hobbit. Where dark
Sick, huh?
things sleep
Yep.
in hollow halls.
This is the first time I'd ever experienced any of this shit. And it blew my fucking mind.
Okay.
goblets they
And I
carved
watched
there
it
for
in,
themselves, and
whatever.
harps of gold.
So, yeah, I absolutely love that. And then here's the song, which I'm going to play, because it's very important. It's very important that you hear the song. Listen to this shit.
The greatest.
Which, by the way, my sister and I used to make fun of this all the time and sing it to each other constantly. So, Jesse, this one goes out to you.
Okay.
The greatest adventure is what lies ahead.
There you go.
Awesome.
So it's epic stuff. And then one last thing here. In 1978, they made a Lord of the Rings. That's right.
Okay.
And I never actually seen this. So we're going to watch this together. And you'll see it down below in the description.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Cool. And then the final part of this episode is me doing the Gollum voice. So, you know.
Okay, let's
You ready?
hear it. The Gollum voice.
My precious. You like it?
Yeah, I think it happened.
Habitants. What's it? Feed me some lines. What does he say? You're ruining it. I don't like the potato.
I mean, I don't know.
That one was kind of fucked up.
Nice. Okay.
The hobbits takes it. Is that good?
Yeah, it was very good.
All right.
So
let's make it go
I'm
away.
I'm not gonna take
This is part 1. So we're like, when I didn't do this in the stream, but on the YouTube episode, it's part 1.
yes, part 1, because we didn't.
We're
get
gonna
through
do a part
everything.
2.
But I
But,
am not taking the Coup de Grace shot. I can't.
We'll take a Hoot or Gras sip.
I'll be done. So.
So what's the next portion of this episode?
will be 25-cent advice,
That's correct.
and so my advice will be.
Your advice
that,
for the 25 cents
I think
is
you
going to be a journey. Is that
I
good?
think yes, that's
Did you
very
like
good.
that?
I think you should just watch Lord of the Rings.
Oh,
Yours.
watch them.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
they're on, what is it?
I don't know.
HBO Max? If you have HBO Max.
Okay,
Watch
Jacob,
it.
go ahead.
My 25 cent advice to you is read the books.
I'm going to.
Read them.
I'm going to.
Start with The Hobbit.
I will
That's-
do it.
That's the first book. Read them.
I'm so drunk, guys.
Why are you so drunk? I'm not as drunk as you are.
I'm drunk because I fucking worked out for like an hour and a
Let me
half.
winks. Let me winks. Let me winks.
I burned off everything that I ate. I'm drunk.
winks.
Okay. I love you guys. Thank you for putting up with me and my drunk ass. And I hope you enjoyed the Lord of the Rings episode.
Guess what? Part 2 coming next week. We're going to continue this
Yes.
up. We'll finish it
Yes.
up next week. And we'll get into the nitty gritty of the,
Yeah.
of the story. We'll talk about the movies. We'll talk about the video games. There's
Yeah.
a bunch of those.
We will.
And we'll say to you, Hoot de Gras, which means live life, love, and drink.
Yeah, Coup de
We'll see y'all next
Grace.
time. And we have even more beers to show you. Also, thanks for being here, man. Oh, yeah. And then remember, my precious.
Thank you guys.
My precious. That's what I say to my dog sometimes. Goodbye.